So what exactly is willpower? The word willpower didn't originate until the 1870s. However, the original 1828 Webster's Dictionary defines will as that facility of the mind by which we determine either to do or forbear an action. The Cambridge English Dictionary defines willpower as the ability to control your own thoughts and behavior. And a simple Google search tells us it is control exerted to do something or restrain impulses. All of these definitions of willpower over the centuries have a kind of common thread to them. It basically tells us willpower has always been about control. It's the ability to control our impulse, our choice to say yes or no to certain desires we have throughout our day. Now, when it comes to building willpower, it's well known at this point that willpower is like a muscle.
Willpower really is your prefrontal cortex muscle.
Was that self-control seems to operate like a muscle.
The part of our brain that makes this yes or no choice functions exactly like a muscle. And just like your body's muscles, if you don't exercise them for a while, they'll atrophy and become weak. Your willpower muscle will act exactly that same way. If you currently feel like your willpower is lacking, it's most likely because you aren't exercising that willpower muscle frequently enough. But the good news is you can work it out and it'll build up once again. So the process of building our willpower is we build it by pushing that willpower muscle every day with the decisions we make. The littlest push can help us build that willpower muscle 1% at a time, just like we would build our bicep 1% at a time in the gym. Even something as little as getting off the couch to wash the dishes when we don't feel like it will slightly build our willpower muscle over multiple times of doing that. As soon as I learned this concept, I started incorporating it by doing all the little things I knew I should be doing, like washing the dishes, or cleaning my car, or walking my dog. Any little thing I knew I should be doing but wasn't, I would start to do it immediately as soon as the thought or feeling popped up. And that's a really easy way to start building your willpower if you're starting from ground zero. The smallest delay in gratification will build our willpower muscle. Even just waiting to get what you want can build that muscle. For example, if you're at work feeling hungry and all you've been thinking about all day is eating that slice of chocolate cake you got in the fridge at home, but then on your way home, you decide, hey, you know what? I'm not gonna eat that piece of chocolate cake until after dinner. You decide to do that, even though you really, really want it right now. Pushing against that urge of wanting to eat the cake right now, but waiting till after dinner, even that little bit of delayed gratification will help strengthen the connections in our willpower muscle over time. And of course, you can push yourself more. The bigger the push, the bigger the workout on our willpower muscle. The harder it is to resist or do, the more our willpower muscle will be worked when we follow through with that decision. Smoking is a perfect example of this. I know how powerful that addiction is firsthand, and I also know quitting it will tremendously benefit your willpower muscle just because of how much a smoker craves that cigarette but has to abstain from having it. It'll build your willpower muscle like you wouldn't believe. Now, it's definitely worth knowing that in order for our willpower muscle to be functioning at full capacity, studies show eating healthy, exercise, meditation, and quality sleep directly affect our willpower muscle. Kelly McGonigal, PhD and author of her fantastic book, The Willpower Instinct, said this at her Google Talk recently.
And so these are all things that we sometimes think of as requiring willpower, right? We think, okay, I have to sit down and force myself to meditate. I have to work out. I have to say no to the donut and eat something, that has fiber in it for breakfast. But we rarely think about the fact that actually not doing these things may be part of what makes it so difficult to begin. And there's a kind of a curve where when we first start, it feels like we're using willpower, but everything on this list that takes a little bit of willpower to begin with ends up giving you back far more willpower than they take.
Using a bit of our willpower to go to the gym, eat healthier options, meditate, or sleep longer are 4 things that, if we do, will literally grow our prefrontal cortex and build better connections in it. And as a result, our willpower muscle will grow at an exponential pace.
It can be a very quick time course to see these benefits, People who meditate maybe 10 minutes a day, after a couple of months, their brains look different. These regions are bigger and better connected. People who work out on a regular basis who used to be sedentary, again, studies show that in as little as a couple of months of regular workouts, their prefrontal cortices are bigger and denser and better connected.
Once your willpower muscle is built, it can be a major benefit to conquering all your goals in life. This is why when someone pushes themselves to succeed in just one area of their life, they find it easier to push themselves in other areas of their life. Arnold Schwarzenegger is a great example of this. First, he was a bodybuilding champion. Then after that, became on to become a top action movie star. And then after that, he even became governor of California. This guy is on a whole other level when it comes to willpower and discipline. We should all take a note.
You got to work your butt off. If you think that you're gonna go and accomplish something really special and be the best in anything in the world, and you think you can do it without working, you make a big mistake. Because no matter what I did, if it was in bodybuilding or in acting or if it is in the political arena, it always took a lot of work.
The next point we have to cover about willpower is the argument of whether it's limited or infinite. Most previous studies showed our willpower being a limited source. I believe this myself because it was a fact not too long ago. But it's surfacing now that our willpower may actually be infinite. We'll cover both schools of thought on it right now. So the original school of thought was our willpower is limited. Everybody said to pick your most important task to focus your willpower on because you can only make so many right decisions in a day. Highly successful people lived by this advice. Barack Obama and Mark Zuckerberg are known for wearing the same outfits to avoid wasting one of their decisions for that day.
My name is Barack Obama, and I'm the guy who got Mark to wear a jacket and tie.
Zuckerberg, the world's youngest billionaire, is rarely seen wearing anything but a t-shirt and a hoodie.
Obama is quoted for saying, "I'm trying to pare down my decisions. I don't want to make decisions about what I'm eating or wearing because I have too many other decisions to make." Previous studies believed with each use of willpower, the self-control system in our brain became less active. Now let's take a look at the other side of the argument. The second school of thought that has just recently been surfacing says our willpower is infinite. They basically say that if we believe we have infinite willpower, we will. And if we believe we have limited willpower, we will. The American Psychological Association said a 2010 study done by Stanford University found that individuals who thought willpower was a limited resource were subject to having their willpower depleted. But people who did not believe their willpower was easily exhaustible did not show signs of depletion after exerting self-control. Then it says, in a second component of that study, the researchers manipulated volunteers' beliefs about willpower by asking them to fill out subtly biased questionnaires. The volunteers who had been led to believe that willpower was a limited resource showed signs of ego depletion, while those who had been led to believe that willpower was not limited showed no signs of dwindling self-control. The article ends off basically by saying that further research is needed to come to a final conclusion. There's most likely some truth to both of these schools of thought. I know me personally, when I had little to no willpower and I tried to stack several things at once that required willpower, it just wouldn't work for me. But at the same time, after years of strengthening that muscle, it does almost feel unlimited. If you're just starting to work out that willpower muscle, the best approach would probably be to focus your willpower on one major thing at a time. If you're trying to quit smoking, start exercising, and start eating healthier, pick the one most valuable to you and start there. It's better not to push ourselves in too many areas at once in the beginning stages of building that muscle. Eventually, you can build yourself to having the belief that willpower is unlimited. And I would almost bet that the ones who believe their willpower is infinite are the ones who have those 4 habits set in place that were mentioned earlier: exercising, eating healthy, meditation, and quality sleep. So willpower being limited or unlimited is still being researched to come to a final conclusion about it. But there's definitely a few things about willpower that most would agree on. The first is that getting enough sleep and food is required for your willpower muscle. If you're not eating enough or getting enough sleep, your ability to make wise decisions will drop. Remember, it's a muscle. If you're training your bicep at the gym, you have to eat and give it proper rest to heal. The next thing is that our willpower is strongest in the morning and weakest in the evening. Now, this could very well be one of the genuine parts from the willpower is limited school of thought. See, throughout the course of our day, we have to resist a lot of things we want and do a lot of things we didn't really want to do. All the way from waking up for work when you feel tired to choosing the healthier option for dinner. As the day goes on, it gets harder and harder to make those right choices for ourselves. So in closing, the word willpower gets tossed around a lot in the personal development community. The importance of it and its role in our success. There's no denying that discipline and willpower will take us far in life, but it's up to us to build it. As the quote goes, willpower isn't something that gets handed out to some and not to others. It's a skill you can develop through understanding and practice. All willpower really is an art. It's an art of choosing to delay our gratifications in life, one little thing at a time.